So welcome to the webinar, Innovation Ecosystems. So a little bit of introduction. Collabwith, we are transforming entrepreneurs and academics into super collaborators and super innovators. And we are doing this with our collaboration platform, but as well with the whole framework of templates and methodologies. And as well, we bring this angle of psychology and emotional intelligence in everything we are doing. And we are applying this into innovation and entrepreneurship. Collabwith is as well this kind of technology to structure, digitalize the whole collaboration process for innovation. So the agenda for today will be to discuss what is an innovation ecosystem. And then we are going to the innovation ecosystem canvas, like you can find in the book, Innovation and Collaboration for the Digital Era. And then we are going to the phases of this canvas, and then how you can help the ecosystem members of your ecosystem to become more innovative, but as well collaborative, like you are increasing the collaboration in the site ecosystem, because that's the value. If everyone provides more and more value to everyone. So I like one professor from Australia because he's mixing the part of psychology and leadership with innovation. And this is super interesting. So he said, so it's Anton Kritz. People's socialization is much more complex than personality. Taking care of all senses of the relationship and how to manage the process and how to bring them people is very important. So, you know, leadership is bringing people together, and this is key for innovation. Here we have the extra angle of socialization, and this is part of the whole innovation ecosystem and how you can create the social intelligence inside the innovation ecosystem, because at the end it's all about people, it's not about processes. So in Forbes in 2020, last year, they say ecosystems will drive innovation in 2020. Well, I think not only 2020, I think more for the future. And this is nice as well to recognize. I think in this article, they were talking as well about more APIs and technical integration on different innovation ecosystems. And this is the part super interesting of connecting different networks. So there is another quote I added as a definition of innovation ecosystem, because it was very curious how still last year in December, people asked me, but what is an innovation ecosystem? So hopefully I already wrote this in the book. And you can see here the innovation ecosystem definition is when you create your own ecosystem for innovation, you have to develop a strategy that is for action and how you are doing the ecosystem, but as well to create this community feeling and this kind of motto for the ecosystem, like is some kind of gluing this, you know, these values and this mission, like you connect everyone in from different angles, different perspectives to have this own purpose. And here we are going directly to how you can create your own innovation ecosystem, how you can create people, and how you can connect to them. So this is part of it is very important, is to understand who can I add to the innovation ecosystem, who are my actors, my stakeholders, who I want to bring in my innovation ecosystem. So here you will see this circle is not only one way or one direction, and it is not only academics with industry. Here we are seeing like it's much more broad, and like you can open your mind and you can open your way of thinking on ecosystem level, and to say, okay, with whom I can collaborate, with whom I can work together, like we are bringing together value. And this is the sense of togetherness. Let me mute. Now everyone is mute. Yeah. So here is the question for you. Now, if you can have as well this paper in your hand and your pen, and here writing now, how you can create your own innovation ecosystem now. So which kind of actors, you know, because if we see from the other perspective, yeah, this one, like you can have venture capital, governments, academics, universities, research centers, innovation institutes, suppliers, corporates, SMEs, startups, or angel investors, with whom, or maybe outside of this list, who you want to have as your part of your ecosystem, if you have one, or if you don't, you have already now, you are part of one ecosystem, who they are, because sometimes we are, but we don't know. So maybe you are in a co-working space, or you are building your, or you are in accelerator. So it's very nice to stop for a moment and see who they are, and they are impacted, or how you have a relationship with, or who is bringing value to your ecosystem. So one of the first points is to identify all of them. And this is the 3 questions you can ask to yourself. Who do you want to have in your ecosystem? Like now it's not there. How is your current ecosystem looking? And what is the role of each actor? You know, here you have like a bubble of actor. So you can drive one for every actor. And then you have a box defining the responsibility of every actor. So maybe before going to the innovation ecosystem canvas, maybe it's good to have here the first question for you. So you can open your microphone and say very quickly, in which stage you are now. So you have already defined an ecosystem, you are working in one, so you have to redefine, or if you want to create one, what are the challenges? What is your thinking now when you see this slide? So you can pop up your question.
Jara, one of the issues I have with the whole ecosystem concept, and you may be able to clarify this, is that I'm in all sorts of networks. I have networks of contacts of different kinds, and depending upon what I'm doing, I may relate to one group of people and we work together on issues. And then in a different situation or facing a different set of issues, I may have a network of other people. I'm not sure whether I would really call them an innovation ecosystem, because I'm not quite sure yet how you're defining an innovation ecosystem. Maybe the networks of people that I have established over many years count as an innovation ecosystem. I've not really thought of them in that language. I'm also conscious that they are, in a sense, static networks. They're groups of people that I know and I network with, and I can call on for help, and they call on me for help when the situation requires it, we work together. But occasionally there are situations where you have to form a completely new network of people, and I reach out to people, including some that I've never perhaps worked with before, and I build a team. And that's the characteristic of working on a project where you bring together people from perhaps many different countries and backgrounds to solve a specific problem. So those are, as opposed to the sort of permanent networks, they are transient networks. I'm not sure whether any of those you would class as an innovation ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think, Richard, you are a very good point, because innovation ecosystem is your connected networks for innovation. So if you is it's not like the friends network, we can say, or community. It's like if you are doing, I don't know, a research on innovation leadership, and you are always doing this, or I don't know, there is here another cases for more building ecosystems. So if you can create your own for a specific purpose, and you drive and lead this community, is when you can create this innovation ecosystem. For instance, now we see this as a clusters maybe, and it's more institutional. For instance, in France, you have a cluster for nanotechnology, another for health. And this is this kind of community of all the organizations working together with academics, and as well the SMEs, and they are trying to be in cooperation there. And they are calling themselves innovation ecosystems. So one another point is the performance and how the glue, if they are very engaged together, that's another story. So, and now my perspective is how we can create our own innovation ecosystem in full collaboration for innovation. So for instance, in the sense of, I think here we have Joshua from Aachen, like he wants to build this ecosystem for innovation in Aachen, in the city. So the question is, okay, who I have, like the goal is like Aachen is much more innovative. Like they are relevant into the future. So this is the concept, like the mission is like to bring value to the economy, but as well to everyone in the city. So this, or into the region, Northern Westphalia. So the point is like here, how you define your own ecosystem and how you bring value, and you have this mission and you define the actors you need. For instance, in Europe, there is more the digital innovation hubs. So inside they have as well different actors. So here in this case is to identify how all these relationships, if you can lead this innovation ecosystem to become much more productive in the innovation, and how you can put all of them in collaboration. There is different phases, and one of the phases to create, but the other is how you can engage them. And the other, like they are going alone. I think it's very nice, like in one of Joshua's podcasts, they were asking about a metaphor. And I think the metaphor is like, if you are going to the desert and there is nothing, and you want to have a natural ecosystem growing there, you have to make the effort, you have to seed, you have to bring the plants until you have the oasis inside a desert. So if there is nothing there, but you want to create something new, you have to think about ecosystem level. And the process of engaging with everyone until you have a super flourish, like you don't need to even to water all the plants. At the beginning, you need to make an effort until it's all up and going up themselves. I answered the question, Richard?
To some extent.
Okay, thank you.
You're taking a pretty broad definition of what an ecosystem is. I think what I understood is that most of the sorts of networks that I feel I'm a part of, you would class as an innovation ecosystem, even if we don't tend to think of ourselves as there for the purpose of innovation. We're more groups of people who work together on problems. I suppose you could say that solving the problem is itself innovation.
Yeah. Other examples? That's okay. You want to?
I think, Jara, I think I think Richard had something that was interesting. He said that a lot of it's just static. It's like the network is maybe still until some problem comes to mind, or the next thing comes into the field, and then it starts to react. And I think maybe what I'm hearing from you is more leadership. How do we get these more movement and dynamic into the system, that it's actually creating innovation from just the interaction, and it's not waiting for problems, or it's seeking new problems together, or potential places of potential. That was just me just kind of reflecting. I think my question would be kind of towards responsibility. If you're picturing, like, I guess I would picture a conductor or someone conducting a symphony or something.
Yeah, orchestrator. Yeah.
But a lot of it would be kind of in a way self-organized. So how would you give responsibility to members of your ecosystem?
I think that's the part until at the beginning you have to orchestrate more until the community is created. I think, and it's a standalone. It's the part like you can see already some communities already advanced in that level of engagement. Like you have, for instance, ISPIN, like the Innovation Procurement Conference, like already they have like 50 years there. So they have this kind of bounding is much more stronger, and then all the relationships and all the business and working together and collaborations, they are popping up per se in a very ad hoc way and self-organized working groups, because there is this openness as well in this kind of ecosystem, but as well because if you are there, if you are part of this group, of this ecosystem, you trust, and you immediately you can create relationships. You don't need someone controlling you with whom you can work, you know, like because because they are very old already, and because they are doing very good, they have this outcome already. And this is very important to understand. Nothing is fast or nothing is super quick and easy, you know, like it's take an effort to orchestrate and to connect people until you can give them a loan. And this is offline and this is online. Doesn't matter, because we are talking about people.
One of the things you touched on there, openness, Jara, which is interesting, I think. I should explain, I work for De Gruyter Publishers, and we're publishing Jara's book in a few months' time. We're very pleased to be doing that. We're primarily an academic publisher, but we also publish books for professional markets as well. In the academic world, it's very clear who the actors are, that all the universities, they have open websites with the researchers and the lecturers, and you can get information. You can go on Scopus, you can do all sorts of things, find information about the academic world. But we're also very interested in the professional world as well, and particularly corporate trainers. And through ISPIM, for example, sometimes you see, you come into contact with people who are corporate trainers and corporate educators. That's really helpful. But I think it varies very much from organization to organization. And some organizations are very protective about what they're doing in terms of their training. It's almost a competitive element that they want to sort of control. And so, we have to find this sort of challenge with openness sometimes, expanding beyond the academic world into the corporate world. It can be quite difficult to, to build your network in that way.
Yeah, this is true. That's, I think this is the part of open mindset, and this is super important in your innovation ecosystem. And that is the way you select people. If they are not open, it's not for you. If you are open, like if you care and you have the value of open and honest and open collaboration and open innovation, and then some of the organization, they are not that way, it's better not to waste the time.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think it's a good point, because sometimes it's difficult, but sometimes you're pushing against a closed door that people, if they're really not interested, or if their company culture is such that it can be a waste of time and effort.
Yeah, totally. The energy. Yeah, focus the energy in the positive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we continue because we have more time later for participation. So this is the Innovation Ecosystem Canvas. Let's see. So this is a canvas, white, like you can write down in every box. So how you can cluster this information is a starting phase, what you have to think. So this is for thinking. It's not like you start going out and say, okay, I will want to build an innovation ecosystem. So I think we have to think. And this canvas is to have this reflection. A starting phase, what you have to do when you kick off the idea to create an innovation ecosystem. Then is the preparation phase. Then more the definition. So you are going deep in what you need, in the definition, and what the objective and everything is going deep into the next level. And then the bonding phase, how you can create this kind of a special bounding, like after later the people that will be engaged. So here in this webinar, like we have only 1 hour, I will explain only the canvas of the innovation ecosystem. In the book, there is as well tables with how to do it in very clear way, online and offline, with all the tips. But here is the basics, like what you have to think. So it's very important to stop and think. And for me, like we discussed before, I think it's everything about leadership, social intelligence you can bring to the innovation ecosystem, and how you orchestrate everything is based on leadership. And very specific for innovation, for me, innovation leadership is like if you are a CEO without having the power of the CEO. And this is happening as well inside a corporate or an organization, and as well outside. Because the level of influence and social intelligence and emotional intelligence you have to know and to have, but as well to create in others, like they become leaders of leaders, is very, 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 very important. So a starting phase, questions we have to think about knowledge. What is about? So what kind of knowledge you want to bring or you want to create with the ecosystem? And this could be, it's health, it's about only innovation, it's about, so you have to define. Then support, because always everything, business, life, whatever, success is everything about how you can help people. So this question is very important. How are you helping the ecosystem? Everyone, the actors, all the stakeholders, how you are helping with this ecosystem. What are you doing to help? And then to understand a little bit the actors, you have to make your list of actors you want to have in your ecosystem. And it's not like set in stone, you can add, but you have to have a pretty clear sense of which kind of people you want to have, which kind of organization. So now my question to you is, which type of knowledge do your ecosystem need? If, you know, this first question to reflect as the first starting phase, like is the basic one. So Alex, maybe like if you can create a fintech ecosystem.
Super. Okay, I need to reflect a little bit more before to answer, I guess. Yes, I will need that 2 more minutes maybe, and then.
Okay. So Joe.
I think for me, it's more the knowledge about, let's say, creating the ecosystem right now itself, because the ecosystems I'm involved in are the ones creating new innovation ecosystems, of course. So I think to name a good example, for example, I'm working together with the Dutch government to create a new innovation ecosystem in Almere, which is the fastest growing city of the Netherlands, and very close to Amsterdam as well. So a lot of synergies there. And if I look to this specific ecosystem, I think what is really lacking is, first of all, from we already discussed a little bit before, right? There needs to be an initiator towards this ecosystem. I call this a lead firm. So somebody who's really pushing this whole initiative forward. So I think on one side, there's a lot of knowledge to gain within the government that is now acting as the lead firm on how to create this and how to push this forward. And on the other side, there's a lot of knowledge to gain in what Jara calls the actors, and I sometimes refer to as the stakeholders of the ecosystem, in sense of how to better connect and collaborate with other stakeholders within an innovation ecosystem. So we know, for example, startups are really focused on getting investors and corporate clients or SME clients. But if you're so tunnel vision on that side, I think you fail to recognize the opportunity of getting more knowledge for your startup from, for example, educational institutions, universities, those type of things. So I think my answer, to make a long story short, on one end, for the initiator, the knowledge on how to build an infrastructure for an innovation ecosystem. And on the other one, for the individual actors or stakeholders, how to engage and collaborate with the respective others that are present within the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. I think that's very good. And I think one thing, like you assume like startups, they are looking only for investors and customers. I think that could be a task to do some kind of research, observation, and talking to them to say, okay, what do you need?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's actually funny. And then again, it reminds me of what Richard earlier said about the networks being very static. So I keep referring to everybody, but I think somebody before also gave an analogy of the desert, right? To stay a little bit in the space of analogies, I use the one of asking an engineer what television is like, and probably he will say it's wires, chips, electrical stuff, lights, etc. But we all know, of course, that television is also about TV shows and movies, etc. So long story short, again, I'm talking about the software and the hardware of an ecosystem. And the hardware are really the actors and the facilities where these actors can come together, such as digital events or physical events, etc. But then there's an other layer to it, which is the software. And that, I think, really concerns topics such as the culture of an innovation ecosystem, the talent that is present there, the knowledge that is present there, let's say the sense of synergy of the level of synergy of the different stakeholders that are present there. So I think it's really difficult, right? Because each stakeholder is in there for themselves in the end, because I must say I really don't like it, but we're still pretty egocentric if you take an umbrella view of society. So I think the trick there is to really spark within all these different people that the knowledge and the sense of understanding that collaboration can really accelerate their own projects. And then I come back to teaching them and giving them the knowledge of how that works and how you could fill in those things for yourself in your own organization.
Yeah. And there is a lot, that's why the knowledge and all that, how would you want to help them is very important, because there is a lot of work on evangelization and education. So we are going to the next one, the preparation phase. I call the preparation because it's the next level of thinking. We are going a little bit more deep, and it's the part of, okay, activities. You need to schedule activities to bring people together and how to share information. So this bringing people together is key, online or offline. If the people, they don't know each other or they don't have this, like they are very separated, there is not innovation, there is no collaboration. So people, they have to meet. You have in this kind of orchestration, this is one of the key parts. And leadership is like how you can bring people together from completely different faces, completely different organizations. Like they have to meet, they have to know each other. And this is completely how you are doing this. You can do it in a completely different ways, with platforms, with coffees, with activities, with the clubhouse, with the social media, whatever. I mean, like, it's not about how many people, but how many people you bring together. As much you can. Maybe for themes, maybe for interest, whatever. That's the work of thinking. You have to think around this. So then is the purpose. Okay, you are getting much more information. You are thinking. So what is the purpose of the ecosystem? What is the value creation you are creating with this ecosystem? And this is linked to the impact. If you are not bringing value and innovation, if you are not bringing value to the people or to the actors, they will not go there. They are not going to be engaged. So this thinking is super, 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 super important. That's why it's there. But maybe you don't have this answer at the beginning, like it's super difficult. You can do philosophy for years. So you have to structure your thinking before you get to the purpose. Sometimes, you know, like think in a completely different way. And then the information flow. Why? Because if the people, they are not talking to each other, they don't know what is happening. And I don't know how, and this is how you know the actors, you know the ecosystem, the purpose. You have to make a format, a way, a structure to share information. People have to know what the others are doing, what they can offer, what they are looking for, what they know. And you can do this as, again, platforms, whatever, but as well newsletter, bringing value, not only a newsletter because we have a newsletter, because then you have not opening ratio at all, like only maybe 1%. So events, showcase expertise, curate collaborations, because at the beginning is everything about orchestrating everything. So my question for you is, what is the purpose, if you have already one, of your ecosystem, and how you translate this purpose to the activities to bring people together? So I don't know if Alex is already ready, or Ibrahim.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I think if I may answer the question, the purpose of my ecosystem has to do with more of technology commercialization, and this has to do with a lot of technology scouting and a lot of analysis that has to do with what is available in the market in terms of the current status and what would be the future trend. And this relates to having several stakeholders, from the technology developer down to the marketing team, down to the business people who wants to put the money down for such kind of innovation, as well as the companies who will be using this particular equipment or facility. So I think it has to do with a lot of collaborative role, you know. So, and you can't really do it alone. You just have to get the right team to see how you can do this kind of things. So, yeah.
I think, Ibrahim, here purpose has to be more deep. Like
Okay.
how the purpose is the value you are bringing.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, for me, I want to transform people into super collaborators. You know, something like it's more meaningful. It's not you know, like this is, I think it's very important to catch the people emotions and feelings, and to catch as well the engagement part. like the why you are doing the ecosystem, why the people have to be in your ecosystem, because they have a special transformation. You are bringing something different, like other they are not bringing, and that will stay with you because you have this special secret sauce, you know. Like I remember like going super crazy to say, okay, I want to remove the frustration of doing collaborations, you know. I want to bring this joy there, and this is for me the mantra I have, you know, every day. I want to bring joy and to remove frustration. and to help people to have this kind of positive mindset towards this collaboration innovation. And this is in many ways, like if they don't understand innovation, they have frustration. Okay, so they have to understand innovation. If they are not, yeah, for instance, in your case, if they don't know the technology trends, they are missing economic opportunities, you know, or growth opportunities or something. So look at the insight, you know, of this and the consequence, what you are doing really with them. Because then is when you will have this kind of level of engagement.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think yeah, there's so much to learn, and I think this is also a gradual process. So yeah.
Alex?
I I still try to translate what we are doing in an innovation ecosystem, because it's true, I never saw it with that framework, with that frame, and so all that right now I'm listening and I'm understanding, and but still I didn't. I'm still not able to explain it yet, but I'm super happy because it's amazing the declic I get like from that webinar. So I'm still in process now.
Yeah, I think in your case, so Alex is doing a new technology for small businesses, so retail, and as well cafes and restaurants to digitalize the analogic data, we can say, to help them if they are very small, they have maybe not so the resources to have all the software like the big corporates to analyze data, and how to help them in this kind of part of digitalization. And I think how I can see your innovation ecosystem, if you want to create one, is to bring together academics talking about data and talking about digital transformation, align with you and your values, with a small group of retailers you can have, and restaurants and coffees, so to have a mix, and as well other founders on fintech, maybe VCs related to fintech, but not to, maybe not directly now your competitors, but something like can have a complement. And then all of you share this knowledge and say, okay, what is the purpose? Like really, we help the small, super tiny micro retailers and micro to become digital, you know, something like, or some kind of super deep transformation, you know, you are bringing from 0 to 100. All together, you can help each other to become much more stronger. Yeah.
From the previous question, by example, what is the knowledge we bring? Actually, we don't bring. They have the knowledge that all that small shop, small restaurant, they have knowledge in their mind, and they are processing it in an old way, which is still a good way. And what we want to bring them, it's like to take that knowledge, to put it in common, and then to offer them more value of it. But at the beginning, we don't bring knowledge because they have the knowledge. It's more like we want to collect it and to improve it. I don't know. I still need to think in that innovation frame. And for the second thing, with the partnership with, let's say, the actor in the ecosystem already, like the other companies, the way they enter the market a few years ago or a few decades ago, then it's no more their priority to to innovate because they have a market, they have a product, it's working, they can sell it, and they are not thinking about how to make better because it's already generating revenue. And how we can help them, but without being diluted. Also, it's to at some point it will be partnership because we are a small structure and we cannot do everything we want to achieve by ourselves. We will need to partner at some point. And it's also how to create a fair community without just giving, without getting back. I don't know, all that from that discussion, it's popping in my mind, and I try to just organize it and to see how to structure it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the points very important. Is giving and receiving. And how from you, it's like you are not giving, you orchestrate, like things can happen. But the knowledge maybe is to understand if you want to help them to become more digital, or you want to help them to grow with this kind of innovation, or you want to help them to think in the future, or sometimes when you do this kind of research and talking to them, you discover which kind of words they are for them very important, because maybe it's to get more clients, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, like, and then the purpose is like for them how they can be. You have to look at the more inside transformation, because only money cannot be the purpose, you know. What is the purpose? So this is the key for them. Is for them is very important how to keep engaged more with the customers, or how, you know, how you can help them with this knowledge they need to increase the business.
It's, yeah, the thing is, right now they don't see still the value for the more, let's say, experienced people. They don't see the value of the digital so much still. They say, I know it's in my head, I know to take decision, I know all that. And to show them it's valuable, it's, yes, we need to create like there is two ways, a database of knowledge. They can, as soon as they will be motivated to read and to discover new stuff, that can be like a nice entry point. Or the second one will be like to just for them to test it and to see the value immediately. But for that, we cannot really like offer them. Like, it's to really convince them there is value in going digital, in having the knowledge and the data in another way. But they don't see it at the first sight, like there is value out of it. That is, let's say, where we need to improve.
And I think, Alex, that's the key 1 million euros question. Because, you know, in your case, in micro retailing, micro cafes and restaurants, they are the micro or micro, you know, very, very, very small SMEs, like less than 10 employees. And this is what I think we are struggling, everyone, like Europe, in the strategies, the consultants, how to make these micro SMEs understand the value of digitalization and innovation. Because if you are super focused, like, okay, I am selling coffee, you know, everyone knows coffee. Everyone, like, we have to, as well, sometimes to go out of innovation is only technology and approach them how you can create trust with this ecosystem. And if you bring this solution, is like you can apply to the rest of micro SMEs, because all of them, they have the same problem. And this is not only to get funds to, I don't know, to renovate, could be, but in more energy efficiency way. But the point is like how they can see the value of doing things in a different way. Like, they have to be relevant into the future. They have to bring this legacy. So for them, this is important, not on, to keep these loyal customers that even they are bringing when even there are crises out there. you know. And if you bring this knowledge because they need it, it's a natural way for them to say, okay, Alex, what we can do more. Sometimes digitalization is not only about to talk about tools.
Yeah. Like
It's people.
have
It's
to
people.
get it like right now. Yes. Like, and no, you are right. Like, okay, like to see how, because they're all independent and they don't talk so much to each other, and maybe that will be like the key, like to show by joining that kind of initiative, they will join something bigger than them. They will be part of an ecosystem helping each other. And yes. Yes, thank you. Right. It's a nice.
So we are going to the definition phase. So how we can define here the things, the ecosystem at the end. So one, things. Define the needs and the issues your ecosystem is facing. And this is, maybe we kick off already with Alex in this point. To understand the problems, the issue, the needs, what they need, more customers, why? Because to survive, you know, like even the basic things, but as well, there are hidden needs. It's very important to discover, to talk to them, to analyze, to observe, like, you know, how you are doing this, why you are saying this, well, you know, how they are doing the business, where you can pop up these needs and issues, because that's the fuel, that's all the basics for innovation, the needs. So it's very important to do this homework. So then solutions. What kind of solution do you need to bring to the ecosystem? It's not like you bring solutions, but you set up, we need solutions for this, and this. And this is at the beginning to kick off, but later you will have another set of solutions or other set of needs, depending on the evolution of the ecosystem. So, but it's very important to say, okay, we kick off with this cluster of, we have to make solutions for this. So then you can hook them and they say, okay, to get there, we will look for solutions for these points. These kind of solutions we need. Maybe digital, no, maybe sustainability solutions, maybe some kind of loyalty for customer solutions. You know, you have not to define yourself here in very detail the solutions, but you have this kind of overview. We need solution for this. And this is coming from the needs. This is coming from all your research, all your conversations you are having with them all together, maybe some, and this kind of pollination from research or with whatever actor you are bringing together. They will bring you with issues, ideas, something, and say, okay, but we have to, you know, as an orchestrator, you have to make sense of all this information is coming, because you are at the beginning. So then the tools, very important, don't forget. Some people, they prefer Zoom. So that's a very simple case. Some people prefer Skype, whatever. Some people, they prefer Twitter or Instagram or something. So how you communicate, everything is happening in the ecosystem. Like they follow, tag everyone in your ecosystem every time you are tagging something new. So it is a way to engage and to make this kind of level of purpose and group. So create groups in social media channels or other tools your ecosystem needs and they prefer to work with. You can imagine one retailer, micro retailer, for instance, maybe they have an Instagram account. So it's super cool if everyone in the ecosystem, they are tagging them, they share, you know, like they feel this kind of community. But as well, if you have some monthly calls or quarterly calls or something, when you bring people together, how you communicate with them, how you disseminate this information. As well, what will happen after the event. You have to visualize this energy happening. So the question for you, which that is very funny because that's always people forget to discuss about tools. So what kind of tools you think they are most value? And as well, if you want to pop out the how and what kind of challenge the ecosystem is the members are facing, if you know already.
I think one of the challenges that I'm facing in the industry and publishing which we work, that conferences are a key sort of element in terms of networking, in terms of finding out information, meeting people. And obviously conferences now, they're happening, but they're online. They're not physical events. And I was just thinking about earlier about building networks and bringing people together, and the role of emotional intelligence, which Jara mentioned at the beginning. And I think emotional intelligence is extremely important. And on the one hand, in the environment we're working now, it's far easier to have communication with people all over the world. I mean, we could have done it before, but I don't know of anybody else. But the last few days, I've been in contact with people in the US, Australia, India, Singapore, Malaysia. Previously, I probably, before COVID, I probably wouldn't have had that number of calls around the world like this. But having said that, it's quite one-dimensional, and there's a group of 7 of us now on this call, and this is really helpful. But if we were sitting around a table in the same room, we could exchange views after the meeting or before the meeting. And in terms of emotional intelligence, I just think you develop a better sense of a relationship with people and how the relationship works, and that's missing from to a large degree, that's missing from this digital environment. So I'm not sure it's a question, it's just really an observation of a challenge that we face.
Yeah, that's very important, because this kind of psychology, how you use the tools, how to understand that people are already all the time in front of the screen. They don't want to be in front of the screen all the time extra. That's why these small talks or this kind of networking completely change. It's not the same. You have the pros and the positive side, like you can connect with people now. You are more open to connect with people in Australia like before, maybe. But there is the challenge of, I don't want to be connected. But in the other side, you have all the people doing live in Instagram to feel connected, but it's not work related. So the tools question is super, super, super important. And I think it's not seen as a huge important. If you want to build this kind of deep relationship, go to Instagram or now to Clubhouse. Don't go to LinkedIn. People are in LinkedIn for another purpose. If you want to build a nice relationship, a more deep emotional part, go to another network. If they are not there, maybe because they don't want to have this connection with you or whatever. But it's to have this understanding what they prefer, where you can engage more, for what you can engage. You are using Zoom for webinars or video conference. So you are using Clubhouse to network globally. Or you are using Instagram to have more emotional connections. You are using Twitter for, I don't know, spontaneous networking. I think I found my friend, almost best friends in Twitter, very spontaneous stuff. So could be, where and for what you are using the tools to get through this kind of issue now for your ecosystem, how to create this kind of networking after or before the conferences. I remember for the conference in December for the woman, what I asked to all participants is to create a 1-minute video, all of them, before. Because with video, you have this deep connection. You are saying this. So they can connect with the person much better after and before the event. For instance, I don't know, and then everyone can access to all these videos, and it's YouTube, how you can reuse and repurpose everything in the tools for the purpose you want to have. And this is understanding of the psychology of tools. And knowing the people they don't want to be all the time in Zoom. You cannot create coffee talks on Zoom. I mean, you are destroying the coffee. I don't know, doing in another way, or people they are not so. For instance, one thing I started, it was the reels in Instagram every morning to say something in 15 seconds about innovation. Because people are looking for this kind of type of knowledge in Instagram. and they can connect much better, and they can maybe, it's not so community driven Instagram, but it's very good for engagement and different ways of connecting with people. So I don't know, it's depending of what you want to increase this kind of engagement. In conferences, do videos for everyone, so every participant, they can present themselves and they, okay, I am looking for this, and there are more videos maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this one is the last phase, is the bonding phase. Is when, what is the things we have to do to put all this glue and people super engaged and to create this kind of community feeling. Values. And this has to be in all your communication, in the ways you are doing things. If you are funny or creative, or for you, it's, sense of humor is very important, has to be everywhere. This, and the people who are inside your ecosystem has to have as well this kind of sense of humor value. So this is, if for you it's very important, openness, transparency, diversity, inclusion, collaboration. This has to be embedded everywhere you are doing whatever you are doing. So, and people has to know. Here is very important, honesty, full stop, you know, respect to people. So in the way you discuss, in the way you solve problems, I think this is very important. If for you is very important respect, you have to feel and to show respect. And the people there, they have to be like, it's a way of leadership and how you orchestrate the ecosystem at the beginning. Like, it's super clear. After 5-10 years later, everyone, no, here we respect people, you know, the people that were already be embedded inside the culture. Then manifesto. Now manifesto, they are becoming super popular, and I think it's a way to translate everything in one page, you know, values, what the needs, all the solutions we are bringing, you know, the knowledge, how we are doing things, why we are doing things. The manifesto is a way, like, you have one page everyone can relate to and say, I believe I am here in this ecosystem because, you know, this page is saying this, you know, I am for this, I am fighting for this. And it's a sense to become this kind of activist way to activate people, you know. And I think it was very good saying at the beginning to say networks maybe are more static, they are not moving, and ecosystem has to move. It's a life, it's living, it's something active. And how you can activate people is when you touch them here inside. And how to touch them is with a very active way of thinking. We are here because we all believe in this. And this is all glued together in one page. You know, and always you can refer to the SDGs, like now everyone understand and relate to, and it's very easy to communicate. You can think about other type of mission-driven, vision way of working. And this is very easy in manifesto. Okay, full. So then the other point is education. So it's the part we discussed before, evangelization, education. People are not used to, you know, to collaborate, are not used to innovate. So it's a very good part to say, okay, which kind of training, which kind of education. It's not only value, it's like they need to know to perform better. If they need this kind of, in the case of Alex, they need this kind of increase the knowledge how to create loyal customers. So, well, because it was a need, it was something coming through, it's very important for them how to create more loyal customers, how to be creative now in crisis to survive. So this kind of knowledge you have to bring to the ecosystem, because that's why they will come to you, because you are bringing this extra value of an education they need to know. They cannot miss out. No, or in the case of Ibrahim, you have already a full set of educational programs and trainings. And this is very important. how to teach being open, how to teach to respect people, to collaborate.
Yeah.
So this is the part of the thinking about education. So the question is like, is this key? What are the values of your ecosystems? And if you want to add more into what will translate this into a manifesto with the whole thing in one page. Because you have to be clarity. So manifesto is very good because makes everything crystal clear. And clarity drive engagement, drive growth, drive everything. So clarity, clarity, clarity. Yeah. Bogdan, I don't know. Ibrahim, Steve, Joe, Alex.
Let me tell you how I see the value of an ecosystem, depending of what are the value of the group of who lead, the people who lead that ecosystem, because the people, every people attracts types of people, not everybody. By example, in sales, if you want to make a group of people to make sales, you have to bring a lady or how to say, a man with a lady, and that can be found links, connection with the people. So it's very difficult for having everything together. It's like knowing when to be manager, when to be consultant, when to be coach, when to be friend, and etc. So maybe to understand, people have to have more personal values to talk to them, to have to listen them, and have situation to solve together, and probably that need analyze for everybody. Every actor need to be evaluated, need to know what are the values and what they need, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
One of the values is to listen all the actors, because most of them want to do that, but not trying to not let them to talk only for sales, but for needs.
That's a very good point, Bogdan.
Yes.
Because this is, you know, when you have, yeah, so this is, I think I am more into the approach to understand sales as if you are bringing really value to the people.
Yes.
Has to be like, it's crystal clear, you know, it's clear the message, what you are doing. Yes. And you are bringing people, you are not selling, you know, you are offering a solution for them.
Exactly.
And this is completely different story. So maybe it's to educate the people to say, it's not about pushing sales or something. No, it's like, you have a super cool thing, they will help them.
Yes.
This is to turn around the sales. And then when someone is telling you, no, because we sales, and no, sales is building relationships, or it's, at the end, it's based on needs. And if you can supply and offer something for them to match the needs.
Yes,
there is a lot of, yeah, exactly. There is a lot of excuses of, I have to have a relationship for someone before collaborating or doing something. Well, wait 10 years. And after, I don't know if you can do business with friends, you know, like that's another story. But like the point of relationships are building when you are working together, and each other you see the value, because we are talking about business and bringing value to each other and to your community and to your supply chain and industry and ecosystem. You are creating value together. This is
I think one of the values is how to make actors to work as teams to sell together, not and innovate, or I don't know, a lot of activities, but not to sell to them ideas, things, or services one each other, but to find together clients to sell to them, to the clients, not to to the actors. That I think this is one of the values, to how to make teams with actors to work together.
Yeah.
And this is one of the value of and the challenge of a team of ecosystem who manage an ecosystem.
Totally.
Yeah.
So here, I think this one is the last slide, how to help ecosystem members. I think it's a very good line about that. Very good. So that's the key secret sauce. Make people more effective, support members to actively listen to each other and to think about what others are saying, what they need. The second point is to help people to focus on the positive interactions, to generate positive energy and deal with difficult people. And this is very important, because if you have everyone there in your ecosystem, like they are is complaining, they are like, but this, you are doing nothing. Sorry for this. I mean, like, toxic people out. And has to be the mindset of, we're looking here for solutions. So we have to understand the problem, for sure. We have to deal with the frustration, for sure. But we are here to bring value to everyone. You know, this kind of positive, like, joy of working together is much more productive, you know, and you drive change with this. So the third point is help people to be nice and kind and caring to each other. And this is how the leader and the orchestrator set the tone of the whole ecosystem. Like, you cannot yell to someone, you know, you have to make, no, stop, no, sorry, this kind of behavior is not here. You know, deal with your things, or we help to deal with the things, but you have to be nice and kind to provide the feedback and to work with someone, you know, like you can have a bad day, but then it's like the emotional intelligence part to breathe and say, okay, today I cannot work, maybe, you know, if it's so strong. And then the other is help to build relationships among all the ecosystem members. And again, that's part of the connectivity and how to help people to connect, like bringing people together, you know, to orchestrate, because at the beginning it's something new. You have to create the ecosystem. And then I like the Professor Frank Piller in Aachen. He said we should connect one maker lab with another maker lab and bring people together, because creative outcomes are coming from knowledge diversity. We have to connect local innovation labs with virtual tools to be able to bring all these people together, you know, to mix everything online, offline. I think now with the COVID, we see this, like, it has not to be everything online either or offline. I think it's a mix of both capacities, like I think we can profit and benefit from. So last question, what is the most important thing that you learned today and the most challenging part for you and for your ecosystem?
I thank you very much for that session, Jara. I had a déclic during it, so that was very like a nice key learning thing, because we didn't see like let's say, our startup or product as a, and with our customer as an innovation ecosystem. It was not in that frame, but by putting it in that frame, that offer new opportunities, and actually that will be the right way to, let's say, to access the market and to, it's not deploying a solution, it's about to build a community that will use that solution and they will grow together. That I still need to process, that was like the key learning of today. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Alex. Super cool. Ibrahim?
Yes, thank you so much for this wonderful lecture. I think it's important for anyone that goes into innovation management or ecosystem activities to have this kind of lesson. So one of the most important things I have learned today is the ability to understand the educational need or knowledge need of the ecosystem members. And the most challenging parts for me and my ecosystem is the ability to continue to have people of like minds, because this is really important. Sometimes you have several people with different dreams, and you also mentioned about some of this negative energy thing, which one needs to avoid as much as possible in any creative ecosystem. So I think the ability to really work with people of like minds is important. The more you have people of like minds, the better your knowledge gap gets reduced, and the better you are more creative. So, and but when the like minds is not there, then there'll be a lot of negativity, negative energy, and sometimes challenges will come, which is also good. To stay true, to really express and try to work out what is maybe a kind of misunderstanding. But the reality is that how far it's well managed, how far maybe the other person has the maturity, or how far you yourself, who is the main person managing the ecosystem, is able to manage this kind of situation is very important. And I think knowledge is a key thing whereby we need to interact, we need to share knowledge, and we need to collaborate as much as possible, because collaboration cannot work if we are not open-minded to one another.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Bogdan?
The most important thing is how to make actors to evolve in this ecosystem, because sometimes it's more comfortable for them to perpetuate a status. By example, to be a professor of a university, but they are going to in something very unlikely situation, or by example a company, they don't they lose clients, but they don't know why. So for them, for actors, have to challenge them. We have to challenge them, because it's not simple to let them in status quo. And this is the problem with the most with the companies who wants to, okay, we sell, sell bread. Okay, daily you have to sell bread, but it's coming very boring situation. So innovation is not something nice. It's not something it's not something like a party or something like this. It's not events like this. So innovation is not simple. have to be work, but in the same time you have to, how to say, to all the time engage people and push them to think, push them to change ideas, to change, and that is one of the most difficult part, most challenging part for an ecosystem. Otherwise, the people in ecosystem will come and go, come and go, come and go. Others, and it's not a direction. Or they try to coagulate only one type of people, and that is also, I don't want to say wrong, but in the same time I want to say it's not evolving all the situation for them and the situation for the ecosystem.
There is this resilience part, Bogdan.
Yes. Yes.
Like you are growing and learning,
But you have, but as a
mindset, to have the mindset.
I have the mindset to challenge them, to provoke them to make something new, something good, and after that invite other colleagues, other actors to improve and to make products and services together for markets. Okay, sometimes you have to have all the services in addition, like, I don't know, accounting, marketing, promotion, I don't know, you name everything that you need. But in the same time, that is can help a lot. Can help a lot to have solution lawyers, IP lawyers, and etc. Help a lot.
Yeah, and you have to be the best friend of them.
At least, yes.
You have to understand each other. You know, it's very important part of the piece of legal sometimes, and like there is this kind of tension always. I think it's very good if we are coming from a sense of love and understanding and a positive relationship. Like if we are going with them in a part of fear and what is this, and they want to blah blah, you know, like break the spark of the positivity.
The two most challenging parts for an ecosystem is, for what I know, is how to bring vision to actors, and opposite, and the other side is how to make relationships and keep it. But it's different because, and also to be a manager, a leader, in fact. 3 points. A single person cannot be good in everything. One of them is you cannot be good in management, good in leadership, good in project management, good in relationship, good friend, good coach, everything together. No, it's impossible. So I think an ecosystem should have a team.
Yeah.
A team of experts, and each one have to have a part. And maybe somebody exactly how are in sales. One of them will connect with some of the people, and the other one will connect with other kind of people. Our needs, by example, one needs one group of actors need something, and another group needs something else. By example, someone need markets, other ones need financing, other ones need collaborators as experts. So are so different parts of an ecosystem, and in the end, everything has to be very efficient. and beneficiary for everybody.
Yeah.
So this is my I learned with all these webinars, and are very good, made it. So I'm trying to understand how to challenge actors, also my friends, also my colleagues and collaborators, etc.
Thank you, Bogdan. Thank you very much. So that's it. I think that's a bit of my curriculum. The book is coming, I hope, soon. This is the contact details.
Can we pre-order the book, or it will be available on Amazon, or it will be?
Yeah, it will be available in Amazon as well. So, yeah.
We can buy it directly to you, maybe?
This is still negotiating with the publisher. So this is, yeah, that was a very tricky conversation. But I think in the bookstores and in the online bookstores as well, they will go. And I will try, because I would like to have at least a part of, like, I can bring an extra value, you know, if like, I don't know, sign or with a specific
a signature, like
stickers, or, you know, some kind of fun stuff. I would like to give this extra value if I can. I would like to sell my book.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And see you soon. If you have questions, you can contact me anytime.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Bye.